This video is sponsored by the subscribe button because we are going for 20,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. Hello there, thank you so much for stopping by today, and in this video we are talking about everything to expect for LEGO Spider-Man brand new day sets later in 2026, as well as potentially when we could see rumors and said pictures. So with all of that out of the way, make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts, and let's jump right into it. So the first thing we need to do when we are trying to figure out what exactly to expect from LEGO in regards to the upcoming Spider-Man movie is to take a look back as to what they have done in the past for previous Spider-Man movie releases. Back in 2017 with the Homecoming movie, they really only released one set as far as I can remember, and this was the Beware the Vulture set. It was a good set. It included the two main villains from the movie as well as Iron Man and Spider-Man. It was a nice affordable set, and honestly I wish they would go back to this style where one set can have all of the main characters rather than you having to spend hundreds of dollars to buy all the different characters from all the different sets. However, this was still not a lot. I mean, I like the fact that they included all of the minifigures in one set, but there are plenty of other locations and things they could have done as a set for that movie, which they did a lot better in the next movie release, which was Spider-Man Far From Home back in 2019. This one had a good amount of sets with the most variety that we had seen in a long time from LEGO for a Spider-Man movie, and I think that the sets that they made definitely represented the scenes that they were based off of very well. Now, there were a couple of inaccuracies, and a lot of people don't like the Stark Jet. That was the biggest set from 2019 for the Spider-Man movies, but nonetheless, it was a pretty successful year, I would say. And then for 2021, there was a lot of controversy around what LEGO did for Spider-Man No Way Home. We only got one main release, and that was Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum as a playset. And the fact is, the reason why there was really no big LEGO sets from this movie was because Sony and Marvel were attempting to prevent spoilers from leaking, which is why they, I don't think, gave LEGO any sort of concept art or any news that we were going to see, you know, the three Spider-Men and then all the old villains returning. So really, I think that LEGO was sort of handicapped by the fact that they couldn't get early access info, and so that's why they had to resort to making a spoiler-free set, and that really made a lot of fans very mad. And so LEGO sort of made up with them 2 years later in 2023, where they released the Statue of Liberty Final Battle, but by then the movie hype had really worn off. Sure, the set was popular, but it wasn't enough in my opinion. They released a few more sets with the Sandman Final Battle as well. That was sort of a nearly $40 expansion for a set that really didn't feel like it's worth $40, but it was a good set, and hopefully we don't see this same thing later on, but we'll talk about this later. Now we're going to talk about what exactly to expect and what kind of sets we think LEGO will make. Obviously, a lot has changed since the last Spider-Man movie in 2021. LEGO was not as adult-oriented, even though they were getting into that adult space. They were not as adult-oriented as they are today. We were not getting anywhere near the amount of 18-plus sets that is currently releasing. However, I think that we will see at least one 18-plus set next year, sort of to tie in with that movie, whether it's an updated Spider-Man mask, or it is a diorama, or even a large 18-plus Marvel modular building if that turns out to be the big module in the next year rather than a Daily Planet. But I think we will see 3 to 4 playsets at the minimum. That is my prediction, and I think LEGO will try to do a mix of playsets and then maybe a couple of epic moment collection sets, sort of like that new sub-theme that we saw them launching in January. I think that will be a very successful sub-theme because they can make a fantastic mix of an 18-plus set with that diorama style on the ground and maybe a quote or a nameplate, but then they give us all the features of a playset. And if you're a kid that buys the Epic Collection, you can simply take it off of the display plaque and play with it as any normal playset. And I think that the quality of the sets will be up there. We saw with the January wave, LEGO is not messing around the next year with 2026 Marvel sets, and I think that the quality of the playsets will be very good, and I'm really not too concerned about the quality of the sets themselves. I'm sure LEGO will deliver the best that they possibly can, because the hype for this movie is going to be very, very high, especially since it's been, 5 years since the last Spider-Man movie by the time this one comes out in summer of next year. Now, there is a lot of rumors and talk about what movie characters will actually be included in the film. I mean, Spider-Man characters. So obviously we know that Tombstone is going to be in the movie. This is a character that LEGO has never made a minifigure of, and I would personally love to see him there. It's a character that definitely has potential to be a fantastic minifigure and appear in future sets if he's successful in the set that they include him in. The same goes for Scorpion. Now, we did see him a couple of times back in the 2010s. However, we haven't seen him in about 10 years, give or take, so it's about time we get a remake. And if he is popular in the movie, again, LEGO could end up repurposing him in future sets, but I think he is going to be a key character in at least one of the sets that will release next year with Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, new info came out recently, if you are a Marvel fan and you keep track of the news, that MR.Negative could potentially be the main villain of Spider-Man Brand New Day, and this would be amazing to get as a minifigure. Now, do not get your hopes up just yet. This is just a rumor and it is not confirmed that he is in the movie, and I'm definitely not looking to pick up your hopes for a character that might not end up getting an appearance in the movie, or he won't even get a minifigure. Of course, I am speculating based off of what leakers have currently told us, and going on from there. I also think that Punisher has a decent chance of getting a minifigure. Of course, Frank Castle is a character that so many people have wanted to see an MCU version minifigure of, and LEGO really hasn't done that. They made us a comics version in the Daily Bugle, but that really, I don't think, satisfied all that many fans because that wasn't the accurate version to what we see in the TV series. However, I think he and the Hulk have a good chance of getting made in the summer of 2026. LEGO is definitely more lenient to making more 18+ characters like they made with Kraven. So if they give us a new Punisher minifigure next year, I think the hype would be absolutely unreal. Now, I do think it is important that LEGO focuses on giving us a nice selection of sets next year for a Brand New Day, and if they don't, it could potentially mean that they are not as interested in making sets on Marvel movies as they used to. We got a nice wave of sets back when Eternals released back in like 2021, and then there really hasn't been a good amount of waves for movies. Like we saw one set for the Fantastic Four, nothing for the Thunderbolts, a couple of sets, but I think just one mainline play set for Captain America Brave New World. And it feels like LEGO hasn't been fully locked in on all the movies that have been coming out, and we got no sets for the Superman movie, so it feels like this year was a big bummer, and so I am definitely expecting them to step it up next year, or if they don't, that means that they are really not interested in making Marvel movie sets anymore, and they're planning to stick to more the Infinity Saga and the comics sets more than they are the movies like they were back in the 2010s. Of course, I hope I'm wrong, and maybe they just didn't get enough information early enough for Thunderbolts, or they didn't think that there was enough excitement for that movie, but I still think there was a lot of missed potential with making more Fantastic Four sets, and the set that they did make was quite lazy in my opinion. Finally, I want to talk about the fact that maybe there is a reason we won't see a lot of sets, and that is because of spoilers, and it really depends how much the trailer for Brand New Day will end up revealing. If they choose to reveal the main villain and all of the different characters that are included, then that means that there is really no worry for LEGO to make any spoiler-free sets. They can choose whatever they want and whatever characters they want to throw into the sets without having to worry about leaks coming out and spoiling the movie. However, if Disney and Marvel choose to hide some characters and characters that are like rumored to be in the movie but they're not shown in the trailer, that means LEGO can't really make a set with them until, maybe at least a year in advance, because they do not want anything to be spoiled from a LEGO set, which is not their ideal way of getting a movie spoiled. So I think there is going to be a clear idea of what the fans will get as soon as we get the trailer, hopefully in the next few months. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed and you want to see more of this style of content, I know it's not all LEGO news, but it is more speculation and predictions based on what to expect for LEGO Marvel Spider-Man Brand New Day sets in 2026. Goodness, that was a mouthful, but I really do appreciate you stopping by. If you enjoyed this video, please do let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and thank you so much for all the support here on the channel this month and this year in general. It's been incredible, and I'm so grateful to have the community that I have built around here, and so LEGO fans can come around from all over the world to catch all the latest LEGO news. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and goodbye.